You see the headlines. You see the stories on TikTok and Instagram. People making a fortune overnight on some new crypto coin or a stock that just blew up. It looks so easy, right? You've got a little money saved, maybe a few $100, maybe a few thousand, and that little voice in your head starts whispering, that could be me, if I just pick the right one. But here's the cold, hard truth nobody is telling you. For most new investors, jumping in like that isn't just a bad idea. It's financial self-sabotage. You are more likely to lose all of that hard-earned money than you are to see it grow. Most new investors are building their financial future on a foundation of sand, and it's only a matter of time before a single wave comes and washes it all away. What if I told you that the secret to actually getting rich from investing has almost nothing to do with picking stocks? What if the real key to building life-changing wealth happens before you ever even think about logging into a brokerage account? I know, it sounds completely backward. We're all taught to focus on the investing part of investing. But that's like trying to build the 50th floor of a skyscraper before you've even poured the foundation. It's a recipe for total disaster. In this video, I'm giving you the blueprint. This isn't about hot stock tips or chasing the next big thing. This is the step-by-step financial construction plan you have to follow before you risk a single dollar in the market. We are going to build your financial fortress, brick by brick, so that when you finally do invest, you are protected from the exact mistakes that wipe out almost every beginner. If you don't have a ton of money, this isn't just good advice, it's the only way. Stick with me, because this is the information that separates the gamblers from the actual wealth builders. The single biggest lie in personal finance is that you can out-invest your debt. You've got a credit card balance, maybe a personal loan, and you think, yeah, the interest is high, but if I can get a 15% return in the market, I'll come out ahead. This is a mathematical trap, and it is one of the most destructive mistakes you can possibly make. Let's just do the math, because numbers don't lie. As of late 2025, the average credit card interest rate is sitting at a crazy 24 to 25%. Some cards are even pushing 30% or more. Now think about that. To just break even, you need to find an investment that guarantees you a 25% return after taxes every single year. Let me be clear, that investment does not exist. The stock market, over its entire history, has averaged around 10% a year, and that's with a lot of ups and downs. So you're paying 25% on your debt while hoping to make 10% on your investments. You are literally pouring water into a bucket with a giant hole in it. Every month you carry that debt, you are guaranteeing yourself a loss. It's a financial ball and chain that will drag you down no matter how hard you try to get ahead. I want you to think of high-interest debt as a dragon guarding a treasure. You can't ignore it. You can't sneak past it. You have to slay it. Paying off a credit card with a 25% interest rate is the same as getting a guaranteed, risk-free 25% return on your money. You will not find a better deal anywhere on planet Earth. It's the single most powerful financial move you can make. Federal Reserve data shows total U.S. household debt has exploded to over $18.5 trillion, with credit card debt alone hitting a record $1.23 trillion. It's a crisis, and it's incredibly stressful. In fact, one study found that a combined 82% of Americans are stressed out by their debt. That stress leads to bad decisions, like stress spending, which nearly half of Gen Z admits to doing. It's a vicious cycle. So, before you even think about investing, you need a battle plan to kill this dragon. The two best methods are the avalanche and the snowball. The avalanche method is simple math. You attack the debt with the highest interest rate first, paying it off as aggressively as possible while making minimum payments on everything else. The snowball method is all about psychology. You attack the smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate. Once it's gone, you get a quick win and a shot of motivation. Note, this plan uses only stock media for B-roll and avoids any AI-generated content to comply with unlimited plan rules.
Welcome to your essential guide to personal finance, covering debt, emergency funds, and smart investing strategies. When tackling debt, the question isn't just which method is better, but which one you'll actually stick with. The debt snowball method, paying off smallest debts first, provides crucial momentum from small victories. This psychological boost keeps you engaged in your debt repayment journey. Alternatively, the debt avalanche method targets debts with the highest interest rates first, saving you more money over time. Regardless of your strategy, creating a detailed budget is your first non-negotiable mission. A budget helps track income and expenses, identifying areas to cut costs and allocate funds for debt repayment. Consider debt consolidation to simplify payments, combining multiple debts into a single loan with a lower interest rate. Imagine you've conquered debt and invested your first $1,000 into an index fund. Then, a month later, your car's transmission dies, leaving you with a $2,500 bill. For most, this means new credit card debt or selling investments. Life doesn't care about the stock market. Emergencies happen at the worst possible times. If the market is down 20% when your transmission dies, selling investments turns a temporary dip into a permanent financial scar. This highlights the second critical step, building a moat around your financial castle, your emergency fund. This is not an investment you're trying to grow. It is financial insurance, a pile of cash for unexpected disasters. We're talking about real crises like job loss, medical emergencies, or urgent home repairs. The old advice was 3 to 6 months of living expenses, but today, that's often not enough. Your goal should be a minimum of 6 months, and honestly, up to a year of your essential living expenses. This includes rent, utilities, food, transportation, and insurance, not your Netflix and coffee money. Figure out your bare-bones survival number for 1 month and multiply it by 6. That's your new target. Recent data shows just how fragile most people are financially. One report found that over half of Americans would have trouble covering an unexpected $2,000 bill. Another study revealed that 55% of Gen Z doesn't have enough savings to cover even 3 months of expenses. This is living on a financial knife's edge, making an emergency fund absolutely crucial. So, where do you keep this money? It needs to be safe and easy to access. Absolutely do not invest your emergency fund in the stock market due to its inherent risks. The best place for it is a high-yield savings account, or HYSA. As of late 2025, many online banks are offering competitive interest rates, often 4.5%, 5%, or even higher. Your money in an HYSA is FDIC insured, totally safe, and accessible within a day or two. It will also earn a little something to help fight off inflation, unlike traditional savings accounts. Building this fund takes time, so automate it by setting up recurring transfers from your checking to your HYSA for every payday. Even if you start small, consistency is everything. Treat this like a bill you owe to your future self. Do not invest a dime until this financial moat is full and secure. All right, the debt is gone, the moat is full, and you have a fortress. Now we can talk about a fence, investing. But jumping into the market without a plan is like getting in a car and just driving aimlessly. You'll go somewhere, but probably not where you wanted to be. You need a blueprint. You need to know why you are investing. This step transforms investing from a stressful gamble into a clear, strategic mission. Your goals will dictate everything: your timeline, risk tolerance, and investment choices. Break your goals into 3 time horizons: short-term, medium-term, and long-term. First, short-term goals, typically 1 to 3 years, are for things like a car down payment, a wedding, or a big trip. For these, your money has no time to recover from a market crash, so it does not go in the stock market. It belongs in safe places, like that high-yield savings account we discussed earlier. Second, medium-term goals, spanning 3 to 10 years, often include saving for a house down payment. Here, you have more time, allowing you to take on a little more risk for greater growth than a savings account offers. A balanced portfolio, perhaps a mix of stocks and bonds, could work, but be careful not to risk money you'll need soon. Third, long-term goals, 10 years or more, are typically for retirement, where the stock market is king. With decades ahead, you have plenty of time to ride out market ups and downs. This is where the magic of compounding happens, turning small, consistent investments into a massive pile of money. Consider diversification by investing in a mix of stocks, bonds, and other assets to spread risk. Index funds and ETFs are excellent for beginners, offering diversification and a hands-off approach. Dollar cost averaging, investing a fixed amount regularly, helps reduce risk by averaging out your purchase price over time. Remember, understanding your financial goals is the cornerstone of effective investing. By managing debt, building an emergency fund, and investing strategically, you're setting yourself up for a secure financial future. Start today, stay consistent, and watch your financial castle grow stronger. And you have to physically write these goals down. Use the SMART framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Don't say, "I want to retire someday." Say, "I will have $1.5 million for retirement by age 65. To do this, I will invest $500 every month into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund inside my Roth IRA." See the difference? One is a daydream. The other is an actionable plan. It gives you a target and a path. When the market freaks out, you don't panic because you're not investing for next week. You're investing for 30 years from now. Your blueprint keeps you disciplined. If this blueprint is starting to make sense and you're ready to stop gambling and start building a real financial future, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. We're all about giving you the no-hype strategies you need to actually win with money. Join the community. You've done the work. No high-interest debt, a full emergency fund, and a written blueprint. You are now more prepared than 99% of new investors. You're ready. But ready for what? This is where everyone gets it wrong. They think now is the time to go hunt for the next Tesla. They start listening to experts on TV or throwing money at penny stocks, hoping to 10x their money. This is how you lose. Your first step into investing should be boring. It should be simple. It should be automatic. The goal isn't to get rich quick, it's to get rich for sure. And the most proven way to do that is to forget about picking single stocks and just buy the entire market. You do this with a low-cost, broad market index fund. An S&P 500 index fund, for example, gives you a small piece of the 500 biggest companies in America. Instead of betting on one horse, you're betting on the entire US economy to keep growing over time, which has been a very, very good bet throughout history. This is called diversification, and it's your best defense against risk. If all your money is in one company and it fails, you lose everything. If you own an index fund and one of the 500 companies in it goes bankrupt, you'll barely even notice. The key to making this work isn't how much you start with, it's consistency. The strategy is called dollar cost averaging. You commit to investing a fixed amount of money on a regular schedule, like $100 every month, no matter what. When the market is high, your $100 buys fewer shares. When the market tanks, your $100 buys way more shares. This removes fear from the equation and forces you to buy low, which is what builds real wealth. This simple, automated approach unleashes the most powerful force in finance: compound growth. It's where your investments make money, and then that money starts making its own money. It's a snowball effect. Let's say you invest just $300 a month. Over 40 years, at a 10% average return, you'd have put in $144,000 of your own money. But thanks to compounding, your account would be worth over $1.5 million. That is the magic. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. So your first step is simple. Open a Roth IRA. Set up an automatic transfer and an automatic investment into a low-cost index fund. And then leave it alone. The urge to jump straight into investing is strong. It's fueled by hype and a real desire to get ahead. But as we've seen, jumping in without a foundation is like setting sail in a hurricane without a rudder. True wealth isn't built on a lucky stock pick. It's built with discipline. First, you kill your high-interest debt. That's your guaranteed win. Second, you build your emergency fund. That's your moat that protects you from chaos. Third, you draw your blueprint. That's the map that tells you where you're going and why. And only then, once the foundation is rock solid, do you start automating your investments into a simple, diversified index fund and let compounding work for decades. This path isn't sexy. It doesn't promise overnight riches. But it does promise something way more valuable: a time-tested, reliable strategy for building real, long-term wealth. Stop listening to the hype. Start building your fortress. Your future self will thank you for it.